Openness and oneness of the body together is the key to all renewal, to all revival. Every time the Spirit of God has ever moved in history, He has always begun in this way. He has restored to the church a sense of belonging to each other and to God together, a sense of openness and honesty, transparency, the need to bear each other's burdens and to uphold one another in prayer before God, to be concerned and to truly care for each other, and to demonstrate our love by deeds of mercy towards one another, all because we share together in the life of God. Now, here's the wonderful thing about being a child of God. We actually are free to do this because we're not hung up with defensiveness about ourselves. We have received the forgiveness of God, the grace of God, and that frees us to be honest with one another because all of us know we don't deserve to be here. This is the most precious thing in the world in the sight of God. When you go through the book of Acts and you take a good look at the early church, you'll see that this oneness that I'm talking about was very evident. As you go through, notice the warmth of the people and the unity that they have together. We read, they had all things in common. And the word common is the very word for fellowship. It was not that they pooled all their property like communists or that they doled it out to each other. That wasn't the idea. It simply means that in owning private property, they recognized the claim of their brothers and sisters upon it as well. And it was also there to take care of them. And that if God gave them something, He gave it to be used for all of them. They were generous and open with each other. Since they recognized that they all belonged to one family, anybody who was in need could ask of anyone else, and the need would be met. This is the level of life on which they lived. You find this all through the book of Acts, and the result of this kind of commonality was that they had great power in witnessing, and great grace was upon them all. Acts chapter 4, verse 33. This is what is lacking in the church today. We have taken away the fellowship, the koinonia, the commonness of the body of Christ. We have lost that to a great extent in the church in general. But we have held on to the kerygma, the preaching, the proclamation. We expect today to convince everybody by an intellectual presentation of the truth. But the reason why the evangelical church of our day is rejected and set aside by so many people in so many places is that those who come to it are disappointed because they hear great words, but they don't see great lives. They don't sense warmth. They don't see love and acceptance. They don't see understanding and forgiveness. What they often run into is strife, bickering, fighting, quarreling, unforgiveness, jealousy, bitterness, grudges, splits, hostility, anger, worry, and anxiety. They listen to the preaching of the great words that come from the church, and then they look at our lives to see how it works. And sadly, what they see convinces them that the words are not true. What they see often is what they find in their own lives, nothing different. We need to live out this gospel. This is the gospel we must act on today if we're going to be that powerful force in the world.